Hell, it's about time.
What's up, everybody? It's Gibberish HS here, and I am here with another Hearthstone review of the Saviors of Uldum expansion. And guess what? The big League of Explorers have arrived. We got Reno Jackson, Bron Bronzebeard, Elise Starseeker, and Sir Murgleton, or Finley Murgleton, whatever you want to call him. They're all here, alright? And yes, they have come back in their old amazing glory. I am so excited to be reviewing these cards for y'all. It's going to be so much fun. And guess what? Single decks are back. Yeah, single card decks are back, and I am so stoked. Now, whether or not they're going to be good or not, that is remained to be seen. But I am so excited to see it. So, let's just get straight into it. First card of the day is a 6-cost 4/7. It's with taunt and it's for warriors called Armadillo. And at the end of your turn, give all taunt minions in your hand +2/+2. So very interesting card, and obviously very powerful. I think for the stats of this card and the ability and the cost, it's actually really good. All right, for what you're getting out of this card, I think it's more than worth the price. Sometimes they get we've had cards similar to this, but it's way too expensive. Like this would be 8. And that's nice, but it's not enough. You know, kind of like the Gadgetzan card, 7-cost 5/5 that buffed 1 minion 5/5. The stats were too bad for you to do anything with that card. And the effect for one thing wasn't good enough. So this is a really strong card, and I love it. I love how it's very specific to taunt minions, and I love that because we haven't really seen a whole lot of taunt warrior since Ungoro, and I would love to see more of that style because Quest Warrior was one of my favorite decks. And with different cards like Dr. Boom, with him stalling the game, this is more than capable of making a big difference in that. So you don't have to worry about getting to the late game anymore because we're just naturally good at getting to the late game. Different cards like Ziliax would be really good, alright? So if you can just get something like Ziliax and maybe one more taunt, this card would be more than worth your trouble. Because he's got enough life to be a problem for your opponent. He's got enough attack to kill most minions that would attack it. He's cheap relatively for the cost, and his ability is good. It's an at the end of your turn, so it's not a battle cry. Alright, this is at the end of your turn, so that's what's one thing that makes it really good. If this does survive, which it's in the current meta, that would probably be unlikely, but if this does survive, that's great for you because now you can make it. You buff your top minions 4/4. Alright, so it's a really strong card. I love it, and I'm going to give it phenomenal. So let's get into the next card. Next card is our first League of Explorer. It is Elise the Enlightened, 5-cost 5/5. It's legendary for, of course, for Druid. Battle Cry. If your deck has no duplicates, there it is, duplicate your hand. Wow, that's really strong. Duplicating your hand. Now, this is really good for all kinds of interesting mechanics. Druid is really flexible when it comes to the singleton decks, and I think it could pull this off, especially depending on the deck. We have different cards that could really help this. I think something like Malygos Druid might be back now. So, I would love to see this style of deck unfold with this because Malygos Druid hasn't really been strong enough against most decks right now. It's good, but it's not like one of the best decks in the game. So this could definitely bring it back because if you play this with 2 Moonfighters in your hand or another Flubness Floop or another Malygos, alright, that's more than enough to do that. The Moonfighters are probably what you really would want though, because then you can just play Malygos and now you've got 24 damage. It's crazy. So I love this card. I'm going to give her 5 stars or phenomenal. So love the card. Definitely a fan. Next is Dino Tamer Brown. 7-cost 2/4. Battle Cry. If your deck has no duplicates, summon King Crush. Yes. The King Crush. So this card is so good on so many levels. We know that Hunter hasn't been the best when it comes to singleton decks, but it's still a good. This is such a good card. I can see pulling it through, to be honest, because first of all, you gain King Crush at a 2-cost discount, plus you get a 2/4 minion with it. All right, and then with some other cards that I'm gonna show you guys, this card could be really good and helping it. So I would love to see this card and just see more singleton decks for Hunter. Alright, I would love to see a new kind of identity from Hunter, because Hunter hasn't really been that out there lately. So all it has been the same deck over and over and over again. So I'm ready for a new deck identity from Hunter. Love this card. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5. I didn't give it phenomenal because I just think it's a little finagling to get it on track. But I think if it has some cards to help it, it can be one of the best cards in the expansion. Next card is Reno the Relicologist. Because I don't know why it's called Relicologist. I guess he likes relics. So 6 costs 4/6. Battle Cry. If your deck has no duplicates, deal 10 damage randomly split among all enemy minions. So this is just initially a big board clear. This card will stop almost any aggro token druid. It'll stop most paladins, any aggro like bomb hunter. So very good card. It's not as good as his original, and specifically to mage. Now the problem with this card, it's not a problem, but it's just something to note, is that it's deal 10 damage randomly spent among all enemy minions. So that's one thing that you should keep in mind with this card, because it's not like you can play this and deal 10 damage to the face. This is strictly for the minions, so keep that in mind when you're doing that. But it's a really good card besides that. Now, we might have to see more cards to help support it, because it is a little weak on its own. Right now, I'm not sure if singleton decks for mage can push it through. I'm sure it can, and I'm sure this deck. But the problem is, I'm not sure if this card is deck defining for what you want. So, if you can make a deck that's kind of really good without duplicates on its own, this card's probably going to be really good in it. But the thing is, you're probably going to have to make a deck like that. One thing I'm hoping that they're going to do with these cards is that they're going to release some maybe smaller cards that also benefit if there are no duplicates in your deck. Like they did in the Witchwood expansion with the odd and even cards. Those were really strong, and we had several cards like the Black Cat and that weird deer tree thing. So I would love to see more cards like that, and so hopefully we'll get to see more stuff like it in the future. Reno the Relicologist is also phenomenal. Last League of Explorer is a 2-cost 2/3 Sir Finley of the Sands. He's a paladin card. So all the League of Explorers are specifically to the classes, so that's interesting to see. And Sir Finley of the Sands has a battle cry. If your deck has no duplicates, discover an upgraded hero power. So pretty strong. We've seen that, from the odd and even decks of the Witchwood, that Paladin with an upgraded hero power is crazy strong. Alright, it's just so strong. Now this one you would discover a different class's hero power, just like you would in the other one, upgraded of course. So it's not a guarantee that you get yours. So I think it's actually going to be really good in specific like aggro paladin decks. I'm not sure if it's going to be strong in the late game deck, but the good thing about Paladin is Paladin has so many options to make this card work. Paladin is so great at the singleton decks because there's so many freaking options you can choose. So I love this card. I think it's really good. So I'm going to give it phenomenal. Alright. Now that we're done with the League of Explorers, we'll keep on going through the other cards. Hidden Oasis. 6-cost druid spell. Choose one. Summon a 6/6 Ancient Wood Taunt. or restore 12 health. So it's an interesting card. It's kind of weak. I kind of think of it as for the 6/6 taunt, I think of it as the Ironbark Druid card, which is an 8 cost, 8/8 with taunt. Similar idea, right? And then you also got the Aura Restore 12 health. The problem is that's a lot of mana to spend for 12 health. We saw from Healing Touch, 3 mana gives you 8. Is it really worth it to spend double the amount for an extra 4? Probably not. Now, where this card could come in handy is the quest. If you get that passive and you can restore 12 health and get a 6/6 taunt for 6 mana, that's really good. Alright, that's crazy strong. So, another card I can see with the Druid quest, I would love to see this in there. A lot of people seem to be underestimating the Druid quest. I'm actually really excited about it. I think it could be really good. So, I'm hoping we see a bunch of different kind of cards that go with it and stuff. So, love this card. I'm going to give it, though, a good. So, it's good. I'm going to give it 3 out of 5. Not the greatest card, but if it goes with the quest well, then it's going to be really good. But on its own, yeah, it's not that good. So next, 1 cost 1/1 Mermy Reborn. There's that Reborn, which will come in handy for when we see this next card. Alright. It's a Murloc, and it's just a Murloc mummy, and it has Reborn, just like the Mecharoo. Probably a little worse than Mecharoo, but it is still really strong, so I like the card. You know, what are you going to do? It's just really cute. I also love the artwork, so I'll give it a good, so 3 out of 5. Next is Making Mummies. 1 cost Paladin spell, and it is a quest. We got another quest, y'all. Quest, play 5 Reborn minions, reward Emperor Rats. Alright, and what is Emperor Rats? It is a 2 cost hero power that summons a 2/2 copy of a minion, of a friendly minion. So very strong, very interesting thing that's going on there. And one thing I like to think of this is I kind of like how the Sir Finley of the Sands and the Making Mummies are different types of cards. I think they have different objectives. And another thing that's interesting is if you have these in the same deck, alright, which one do you want more? Would you rather, is your plan to try to get Sir Finley of the Sands in the beginning, play him, use his hero power, and then play the new quest? Or is your plan to do something different? And is your plan to play the quest, get that after you used it a few times, then play Sir Finley? Interesting thought concepts if you're going to put them in the same deck. Now, Reborn, we haven't seen a whole lot, so I'm expecting a lot more Reborn cards from this expansion, because I think right now we've only seen like 3 or 4, and you know, so that's not nearly enough to make this work, because I think one of them is a warrior. So I hope we see more Reborn cards and better ones too. Like, no offense to, you know, Mermy, but he's not nearly good enough to be probably put in a deck like this. Maybe, but we'll see. So I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5 for the quest. I think it's really strong. I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5. I think it's amazing. I think it's really strong. I just think it needs some work on some stuff, but I really like it. Different combos you can do with it, different strategies, divine shield, buffs, different things like that. So, interesting card. Next is Hunter. Really interesting card here. 6 cost 5/5 epic. Scarlet Webweaver. It is a beast. Battlecry, reduce the cost of a random beast in your hand by 5. Now, this card has a lot of controversy, because some people think this card's not that good, it's not going to get us anywhere, and some think this card's amazing and it's going to get us everywhere, alright? They think of stuff like King Crush, Savannah Highmane, Tundra Rhino, you know, different cards like that. Witchwood Grizzly, right? Play Witchwood Grizzly for 0. That's interesting, alright? That's really powerful. Now, some people's problem is that playing this is kind of hard because it costs a lot, you don't get that great stats, and then you have to kind of really set it up, so I'm not sure if you can get that combo. You know, if it's worth setting up that combo, if you can get that combo, if it's going to be worth it. I disagree. Now, I don't think this card is phenomenal, but I do think it's really good. I love the idea of reducing beasts, and I like how it's a random beast. Notice it's a random beast, so you don't get to choose, but you can easily set this to be around big beasts and stuff to be to your advantage. So King Crush obviously is a big hot topic right now with it, but if you think about it, this card is actually really good, I think, with the Dino Tamer brand, because you can put this in a deck like this. And so imagine this. Alright, King Crush is 9 mana. You play this, he becomes 4 mana. Alright, and let's just say you got second turn. You could play Braun, then you could play King Crush if you used a coin. Alright? You got 18 damage in one turn if you had a coin. Alright? Maybe there'll be more ways to get, maybe there'll be more ways to do stuff like that with mana manipulation. Maybe you could, there are so many different ways you can make this work, is what I'm saying. There are combos out there, and I can't wait to see what the combos people are planning to do. For those who say no to it, I say I get what you're coming from, but I think it's going to be pretty good. I think it's going to be better than people think. So I'm going to give it 4 out of 5. And it's a little weak in the stats, but not enough to hold it back. So 4 out of 5, really good card. And next is the Wild Bloodstinger. 6 cost 6/9. Ooh, good steps, right? Especially for a beast. Wild Bloodstinger, epic. Battlecry, summon a minion from your opponent's hand and attack it. Very similar to, of course, everyone's talking about, is that rat card from Gadgetzan, Dirty Rat. So, good card. I like it. People haven't really been giving it, I think, a lot of thought. It's a good card to stop something like Shudderwock, which is, for some reason, a lot of people are talking about that. I guess it's because you can kill them. But, you know, my thing is this card is, yeah, it's really good. But it's just a good card to play because of its stats alone. Alright? Even if, let's think of something like the worst case scenario. Let's say you summon a huge minion, alright? The thing is, this isn't like Dirty Rat. I know people are comparing it to that, and it is similar. But it's not really like that because of the mana difference. This is a late game card. You're not playing this at 2 mana. Sometimes you play Dirty Rat, alright, in Gadgetzan days. You play that card, it would bring something like a Ragnaros or something like that to you on turn 2, and then that's it. That's game. You're dead, basically. This is not like that, alright? There are cards that have more than 9 attack, and there are cards that have, you know, more than 6 health that could stop this card. But this card is so incredibly strong, and most decks are aggro these days. This card is so good. I truly think this card is way better than people are giving it credit for. But for different reasons, alright? I know it's a great card, alright? But I think it's just a great minion on its own, alright? Because it's a beast, alright? Imagine doing a Wire Dire Frenzy on this. Just think about that for a second. Okay? You would be putting in a 9/12 into your deck for 6 mana. That's crazy. And then you could do something with the Scarlet Web Weaver to discount that. Make it 1 mana. Alright? I just think this is such a good card. And I love it because it's a big beast. And I'm seeing this big beast vibe from Hunter. With Braun, with Scarlet, and with the Wild Bloodstinger. I'm seeing this pattern. And I would love Big Beast to come back. Because Big Beast was one of my favorite decks in Kobolds and Catacombs, and it kind of died since Katrina left because she was a big pull for that, because we had Katrina and the 8 cost 7/7 with charge Battlecry. You can't attack heroes this turn. Alright, that was a big thing, and I miss that type of deck. I love that type of deck. So I love this card, and I love the other one, and I just can't wait to play with them. It's just gonna be so much fun. So definitely, I'm gonna give this 5 stars. Just a great card. Phenomenal. Last card of the day. 2 cost 2/1 Expired Merchant. Rare. Battlecry. Discard your highest card. Death Rattle. Add 2 copies of it to your hand. So, interesting card. It kind of reminds me of the Librarian and Old Gods 2 cost 3 2. This is a little weaker, but it was battle cry, discard a card, and death rattle, draw a card. This is a little different because you get to add 2 copies to your hand. So this actually gives you value when you do this, and I like that idea more. With this card, I just liked this card was one of my favorite decks before we went into the age of Ungoro. So I'm actually really happy with this card. Any card that helps discard luck stay alive, I'm for. So yeah, it's a really good card. People have been talking about different combos you can do with it. I think it is a stronger card than Wild, to be honest, but I like it. I think it's a good card. I think for it to make a discard deck with it, you're gonna need more discard cards, because we lost Doomguard and we've lost a lot of, like, the quest and all those types of minions for this deck type. So I hope we get more discard cards. Now with this card as alone, for combo reasons, this is where it can get interesting. You got different types of decks, cards you can do with this. People are talking about Blood Reaver Gul'dan, Voidwalker, but again, that's wild cards. For things like Standard, I can't really think much of what you could do with it, but it is an interesting card. I would like to see. I think it's going to be one of those cards where I really won't know how good it is until that one person makes a crazy deck with it. So I hope it's good. I'm not sure how great it is right now, so I'm going to give it 3 out of 5. It's pretty good, but I'm not sure where it could be going. So, alright guys, so there you go. That was a Saviors of Uldum card review. Really fun. We had 11 new cards today, plus Reno, Braun, Elisa, and Finley were all back, so that was so great to see them all again. And yeah, we got some crazy cards like the Armadillo and Scarlet Web Weaver. So you guys have a great day. We'll see you guys in the next card review. And don't forget, the Marvel expansion set is coming out. It'll be out in around 2 weeks. I've been a little swamped lately, but I'll definitely make sure to get that out. And another Friends card review will be released in 2 days. So keep your eyes out for that. We'll see you guys there. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.